Hello, my name is Julie Ivanoff. I am an architecture student pursuing my PhD in architecture, and I'm also a resident at Bank Block. Now, I remember the first time I saw a historic building facade preserved for new construction. I was standing at Bank and McLeod, watching a mechanical hand pick apart the existing building on that site. I didn't even know such a thing could be done. Over the course of many months, I watched that site evolve, and eventually the front of that brick building was shored up and a crane moved the whole face of the building to the side so that way construction on 9 stories of condos could begin. That building was the Metropolitan Bible Church just south of Gladstone, and it may have been the first building in Ottawa to integrate a heritage facade with new construction, and that was over 10 years ago. Since then, we've seen multiple examples of this type of construction. At 180 Metcalfe, the Medical Arts Building has had 3 facades preserved, while a 27-story tower with 307 residential units was built around it. Construction took 3 years to complete, and that was during the pandemic. This was a much more complex project than the Bible Church. Furthermore, this is not a smart living property. This project on Bank Block may be the most complex heritage project overseen by private investors. It covers 4 heritage facades across 1 block of Bank Street. It's significantly larger than the previous projects I mentioned. This project is bigger than 994 Bronson Avenue, a smart living project where 1 house was demolished to be replaced by a 3-story building. Construction started in 2022 and it's still under construction. That's 3 years to build 1 3-story house from scratch. The proposal on Bank Block has 9 stories. It's larger than 229 to 247 Beechwood, where 5 existing buildings in this heritage conservation district have been vacant since 2021. This is a smart living project that was denied approval twice because it has, quote, not been designed to preserve the cultural heritage values, attributes, and character, end quote. Where are the tenants that were living in those 5 buildings? They could still have homes if it wasn't for the poor business practices of smart living. This project is also even more complex than 92 Hinton. This smart living project involved demolishing 4 houses to be replaced with 194 units. That's almost half the units proposed for Bank Block, and this project took 8 years to build. In fact, just recently, we learned that Smart Living has defaulted on the mortgage for this building, a building that's supposed to be their flagship for Dwell. To quote the Ontario Superior Court judge, quote, there is no dispute that the loan is in default. It matured on June 1st, 2024 and was not repaid. Approximately $2 million in interest is now owing, end quote. Also, the municipal property taxes on the Hinton properties have not been paid since 2023, and $500,000 is owed. They said that they used June rents to pay some of the balance, but the city says they paid less than $20. Only last week, we heard Smart Living say that providing 11 units for existing tenants of the 263 units that will be built on this block was not financially viable. A condition for heritage approval is a credit report from SLP. How can Smart Living be trusted to commit another massive building project while also having one of their largest developments seized due to non-payment? Are we meant to bet our homes and our lives on this? Councillor Troster brought up an MOU. The MOU does not include the necessary elements to protect the tenants on our block. It does not provide security against displacement and homelessness. It also undermines both our organizing work and the legal processes we are currently going through at the Landlord and Tenant Board, pressuring us to accept a deal which displaces us before we even have a chance to make our case at the Landlord and Tenant Board. Moving out in February, 2 months from now, is not helpful to anyone. In the context of this MOU, the only way to accomplish that would be by means of adequate provision for relocation assistance. Without this, the right of first refusal is not meaningful. This MOU's provision for relocation assistance is insufficient to protect the tenants on our block. Once $20,000 runs out, what are we supposed to do? And considering that it could take way more than 8 years for this project to develop, or perhaps left vacant as is, we have a lot bigger problems to consider. So I urge you not to approve this project and to look into the background and the business practices of smart living before you make your decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your delegation. Obviously, the focus was on also financial concerns rather than heritage attributes. However, we provide some leeway at this committee. I think you do have a question from Vice Chair Plante.
Thank you so much, Chair. If you'll just indulge me for a second, I just wondering who in staff could get me some information about these financials that were presented, only because I have about 60 smart living projects in Sandy Hill and Lowertown, and this could be a huge red flag if this is true. So I'm just wondering who I need to follow up with on this.
Chair, Legal Services can provide that information to members of council.
Thank you. Can I get that like within the next 2 weeks?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Chair. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you. I don't see any other questions. So thank you so much for your delegation.